College football playoff gets underway on Friday, December the 20th. The first round matchup has number 5 Notre Dame battling number 8 Indiana, the game in South Bend. Then on Saturday the 21st, number 4 Penn State plays host to number 10 SMU, number 16 Clemson at number 3 Texas, number 6 Ohio State at home against number 7 Tennessee. The second round starts on Tuesday, December 31st. That New Year's Eve has number 3 Boise State taking on the SMU Penn State winner. 3 games on New Year's Day. Number 4 Arizona State gets the Clemson Texas winner. Number 1 Oregon faces the Tennessee Ohio State victor. Number 2 Georgia gets the Indiana Notre Dame winner. Bowl season gets underway this Saturday with the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. South Carolina State battles Jackson State. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Get even more savings this holiday season by becoming a Milo's Rewards member. Don't miss new member deals dropping every week, like $15 off a purchase of $50 or more on select Bounty, Charmin, and Puffs paper products. Plus, get free standard shipping with Silver Key status. Just one more way Lowe's is here to help you shop, save, and enjoy the holidays. Join for free today. Milo's Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Exclusions and more terms apply. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Smart is coming back. The days of just picking teams based on a coin toss are over. You need the latest stats, odds, and information. Make a plan. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Well, duh. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the 2 best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, let's not know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, SiriusXM Channel 159.
Oh, the best hour of your day officially underway on a Wednesday afternoon in the Northeast. It's actually a little bit warmer. Maybe around, let me check the watch here. 64 degrees right now in my area. Pouring rain. And today, I had a 3-hour show this morning. Let me tell you about that. As you know, it's like, well, what do you mean? You do that almost just about every morning. Yes, I do. Outside of Friday in football season and Tuesday in football season, the early line is 3 hours, which is me, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But last night was like an extra work night in a way. Traveling up to New York City, Midtown Manhattan, to the Renaissance Hotel, right next to the Garden. We had our office party on the SportsGrid Network. And you know me. Drinks were flowing. Didn't partake. Had 2 bottles of water. Fantastic. Also sipped on a little bit of pineapple juice late in the night, as I like to do when I'm out and about. If I need a tiny pick-me-up, just a couple sips. Got a big, tall glass, maybe drank a quarter of it over about an hour's time. You'll find me doing that when I have the, Pro Football Today shows on Monday to Thursday because I fast. I don't have any, food outside of my really 1-hour window, which starts technically right now, which I have a couple snacks before the show starts. But we did have a great time in the city. Brought the wife up. Got to meet everybody else. First time there. It's been a couple years I've been at the SportsGrid Network. Have never made it to a Christmas party. Made sure I wanted to get there. So how my day went, which again, Tuesday, my off day. Get to sleep in a little bit in the morning. It's fantastic. But then in the afternoon, went to the train station in Hamilton, New Jersey, which takes about maybe 45 to 50 minutes from my house to get there. And then the ride into Penn Station, just under the Garden in New York City, that was about an hour 25. Don't mind that, though. It was a fairly easy commute there. Traffic was an issue. Train was on time. Everything was fine. Get in, have some fun. Then you're looking at the watch, like, okay. Party started at 6:30. Got there right around 6:45. Right around 9 o'clock, time to head home, which, again, same thing entails. Walk to Penn Station. It's raining a little bit. Hour 15, hour 20 on the train. 45 minutes to get home, which made it for a late night. And I don't use caffeine anymore. And when I use it, boy, you know me. I was 2 monsters a day for probably 15 years. And not this past August, last August. So what, maybe 14, 15 months ago, 16 months, I gave up caffeine completely. So right now, people, I'm running on fumes and I need you out there. I need you in that chat box. SportsGrid On Demand. Best way to watch our show on the radio and also communicate with the hosts such as myself. You know I'm always on Twitter as well. At RightSideVP, reach out, say hello, hot topics, tickets you want to get after, that's fine. Akbar's in the chat box, shout it out. But when you say caffeine-free and running on fumes, that's your boy right now. Because I woke up this morning when the alarm went off like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough haul. And I got a pretty busy day today. But if I can make it through this hour, I get a little bit of lunch in me, and I go right to sleep for a couple hours to try to catch up. So running on fumes for the people, the energy is high, the best hour of your day, yes, it is underway. Your boy DRS is going to get after it and have some fun because we got hot topics to talk about in Major League Baseball, in the NFL, and also in college football. But a good time was had by all, finally meeting just about everybody in person, putting the names and the faces together. Who JP, never saw him in real life, quote unquote, in person, saw him in real life, in person last night, and got to catch up with all the folks. Good time, holiday vibes, great network, great community, fantastic stuff. But let's get down to the business today at hand. And every once in a while you say, boy, what are you going to talk about on a Wednesday? Midweek in the NFL, college football, obviously, we're just waiting now for the college football playoffs. The Army-Navy's this Saturday, which is actually a pretty good game, but come on now. The NBA Cup in season, 2 games last night, only 2 games tonight, not a lot doing there. NHL, I believe, only has 2 games tonight. So huge slates for Thursday coming up, and we'll be excited. We'll get to the football games, which we're going to preview for the majority of this show. But as I said, sometimes you're not prepared for items that come across your desk that you can say, what are we actually doing in the sports community? A tweet that came out, and this was at 10 a.m. this morning, so it's about an hour old, from On3, at On3 Sports. They do a lot of college football stuff. And it says, new, in bold lettering, Ohio State Representative Josh Williams introduced the OHIO Sportsmanship Act Tuesday. And it says, the act would make it a felony offense to plant a flag in the center of Ohio Stadium. So, obviously, targeted at teams coming in, just like Michigan, who planted their flag after they beat the Ohio State Buckeyes when the Buckeyes were favored as 3-touchdown favorites. And if you've been watching, the planting of the flag has probably always been around, but really made into a phenomenon with Baker Mayfield when he started it. So now teams feel the need that if you go into the opposing team's stadium, you win that football game, you want to mark your spot. So you go over to the band and the cheerleaders, and you grab your giant team flag, and you sprint with it as it's waving in the air in all of its crispness, and plant it, even though it's not going to stick because it's turf, but you plant it to let them know this is now your house. Now you have to understand, the response that's going to come back from the other team is going to be swift, and they're going to want justice for you disrespecting them in their house. So sometimes it comes with a little melee, which you saw between Michigan and Ohio State, which ended in punches thrown, some helmets ripped off, and some pepper spray out there. But that wasn't the most embarrassing thing of the day. The most embarrassing thing of the day was the fact that Ohio State actually lost on their home turf to a bad Michigan team that barely had an offense, that you were favored to beat them by over 3 touchdowns in this game and couldn't do that. You lost because you were inept on offense. But the fact of the matter is, the Sportsmanship Act that says you can't plant a flag there and it could be a felony offense if you do that, what are we talking about? It's gamesmanship. And sometimes it just comes down to, if you don't want people to plant a flag on your field, what do you do about it? Just beat the football team. If you are favored by 3 touchdowns, just beat the football team. It's simple. They won't plant a flag if they lost. They'll be licking their wounds. Off the field they go, and away you go into the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State. But the fact that you lost Now you're trying to come up with ways where it can't happen again as by just saying, hey, Ryan Day, get out there, coach your football team, and beat Michigan. They won't be planting flags on your home field. Now, if you say this, and next year Ohio State's going to want to win at Michigan and plant the flag, and so be it. I actually don't mind. And if there is a change, for me, it wouldn't be what Representative Josh Williams is talking about. You plant that flag, we're going to have an issue with it. You're not going to be able to do that again. And we're going to make it so by putting a law in that says whoever plants that flag will go to jail on a felony. Stop it. You know what should happen, though? A lot of these games have specific names, like the game. Penn State, Ohio State and Michigan. But how about this? Instead of handing out those trophies or the Paul Bunyan Award, whatever you might have, let's just do this in these rivalry games. You have the right to plant your flag at midfield should you beat that team. And same thing. If the home team wins, they should be able to carry their flag in their home stadium and plant it at midfield. Our house, we defended it. You lost. We get rights here. What's wrong with that? And by the way, does it even have to be a rivalry game? Why can't we just have any game? You lose that football game, you win that football game. Your rite of passage is to plant that flag at midfield and make it known that this is your house. Just like, this is my show. It's Moneyline. We're underway. Let's keep the vibes high and talk more football next.
We're the club you want to join, even though we'd have you as a member.
You'll like it here. We have munchies.
And the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
A state senator from Lancaster County will leave his seat in Pennsylvania's legislature to go work for the state's newly elected U.S. senator. This update brought to you by Verizon. Senator Ryan Aument, a Republican, intends to resign before the new legislative session begins January 3rd to become Senator-elect David McCormick's state director. Aument has served as the caucus whip for the Senate Republican majority for the past 2 years. He was elected to the State House of Representatives in 2010 and to the Senate in 2014. He was serving his third Senate term in a heavily Republican district. General Motors says it will retreat from the robo-taxi business and stop funding its money-losing Cruise autonomous vehicle unit. Instead, the automaker will focus on development of partially automated driver assist systems like its Super Cruise, which allows drivers to take their hands off the steering wheel. GM said it would get out of robo-taxis given the considerable time and resources that would be needed to scale the business along with an increasingly competitive robo-taxi market. I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
Let's face it, winter can be a hard season. It's cold pretty much all the time. Blizzard. You have to shovel. Another blizzard. You slip on ice. But you know what makes winter suck a little less? Getting a free phone. Join Cricket Nation and get a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ooh, ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
You've heard of smart bombs,
Smartphones, smart cars, smart watches, and smart glasses.
Now you can add Smart Player.
Giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
By the way, the price of the brick, people, as you like to say, absolutely going up. The NFL, boy, I don't know where, get on the ground floor. Wouldn't it be nice? Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, most of us work very hard for a living, don't have too much handed to us here. But sometimes you look at the NFL, a lot of these owners now are second-generation owners. Take a look at the Hunt family out there. Lamar Hunt was the father, started the Kansas City Chiefs, hands it over to Clark. I think it's Clark Hunt. Just takes over and walks into a $1 billion entity that's going to pay him hundreds of millions of dollars in his lifetime. If he decides to sell it, it's billions of dollars in his pocket. You take a look at the Mara family. You take a look at the Brown family that have held these institutions for a long time out there at this point. But now we're starting to see you can still have a lot of money. You can sell a portion of your football team, and you don't even have to ride off into the sunset. You can still have your cake and eat it too. What I'm talking about now is I just saw a tweet from Judy Batista. This tweet came out 10:52 a.m. this morning, so I don't know what, roughly a half hour ago. And it said, the NFL has approved the sale of 8% of the Philadelphia Eagles to two family investment groups. The valuation is huge, $8.3 billion for the sale, which is for a portion of the team alone. Jeffrey Lurie retains control of the team. So 8%, I believe. Let me see. 8. Yes, sorry. Sometimes it's tough to read there. 8% of $8.3 billion has been sold. So Jeffrey Lurie, in effect, can take home there after taxes hundreds of millions of dollars, still retain full control of the team. Boy, that's the way to live your life. Now, Jeffrey Lurie also not let's say, a second-generation owner. He's the first as a son on the Philadelphia Eagles who does work in some day-to-day operations. Of course, he's probably going to be taking over that. If not, the team is sold. We'll find that out. But that's not the point here. But the fact of the matter of how much money this team is making, and also the Philadelphia Eagles, when they were purchased by Jeffrey Lurie, I want to say 160, 180 million back then. That's incredible. Where you have a business that you bought for, let's just say $150 million. You make millions upon millions upon millions a year. And now you're worth $8.3 billion in the valuation. That's absolutely incredible. It's professional sports, particularly now that we're talking about, let's just say, the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL. And it is wild to see that it is a business that's foolproof. Run your organization into the ground on a year-to-year basis and print money. You can do it. Like Daniel Snyder, when he bought which was the Redskins back in the 1990s, which turned into the Washington football team and now the Commanders, and they probably should change the name again. He was unceremoniously thrown out of football and walked away with billions of dollars in his pocket. And he took over one of the more proud franchises in the NFL, which had the biggest waiting list in the NFL, and turned it into an absolute laughingstock. But anytime I see some of those businesses, quote unquote, that pop up and say this is how much money they're worth, like think about a McDonald's franchise, right? And we're talking about all of the McDonald's. Some of you eat fast food, some of you don't. It's actually been a while since I've been to McDonald's. Usually one of my favorite stops. But I sort of fall into this fold where I'm eating at Chipotle a couple times a week. I'm eating at a local sub shop a couple times a week from my house, hoagie shop. And Five Guys, which you know me, I can't stand the fries. But burger is spectacular. Haven't been there in a while, but if you would have told me, like, hey, by the way, every time you go to McDonald's, it's the same. It's delicious. You enjoy it. Same thing at Chick-fil-A, Sonic, Rallies, wherever you guys go out there. Burger King, Wendy's, you get the point. If they just continue to sell really bad food that, if you like fast food, didn't add up, eventually they would go out of business for moves like that. Not in the NFL. Look at the Vegas Raiders, who started out in Oakland, moved to Los Angeles, moved back to Oakland, and now find themselves in Vegas. Al Davis owned that football team when he brought it from the AFL to the NFL, and now his son Mark Davis owns that team. Doesn't do anything well. The team flat out stinks out loud every single year. And for the better part of the last 25 years, that's a fact. Doesn't matter. They're in Vegas. Vegas built them a stadium. They cash chips every single week. They stink out loud and make every horrendous decision you can possibly make. from quarterbacks to wide receivers to running backs to coaches to general managers, you name it. Doesn't matter. Print money left and right. It's a wrap. So also Albert Breer points out, this morning, the Dolphins and Bills became the first two NFL franchises to officially bring in private equity investors, with owners approving those transactions in the league. So now you're going to be cashing in, they're going to be making money, and is there going to be a board of directors that makes them start to prove a point? Not heard a voice out there. I brought up my video. I see a Steelers shirt. Let me rise up in my seat here. Rise up in my seat. Rise up! It's Dave Sharapan. What is the deal, brother? Thank you for joining in here. What's going on?
Goodness. You know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Steelers-Eagles week. The PA battle. The Steagles Super Bowl. I said, hold on. Is Right Side alone today?
Yeah.
Is he flying solo?
Solo.
I got to go help this guy out. I got to talk to him. I mean, we got hype. We got a big game. Forget about this Buffalo-Detroit, Super Bowl preview. I mean, are these people not thinking about the possibility of a PA Super Bowl down in Bayou? Can you imagine the takeover of what this could be? It's a big game, Donald.
Everybody running to that game except George Pickens. He knows the outcome. We should ask him next. And also Dave Sharapan, the Keystone State, baby.
We never stop giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24 hours a day.
7 days a week. Business hours are for losers.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1951, Joe DiMaggio announces his retirement. Joltin' Joe won 3 MVP awards and had a 56-game hitting streak in 1941. After his career, the Yankee Clipper married Hollywood star Marilyn Monroe.
I want to be loved by you alone.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Chinese researchers have created a robot that can identify plants just by touching them. Mimicking the delicate touch of human skin, identifying plant species with 97% accuracy, sensing moisture and texture machine vision can't see. The goal? An army of robot farm workers tirelessly monitoring, fertilizing, and applying pesticide to individual plants 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, increasing crop yields. Even identifying dangerous plant species.
That would be poison ivy.
Follow me at G. Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
I'm watching Atlanta defensively last week, and they were hitting Herbert left and right. If that defense shows up here against Minnesota and does that to Sam Darnold, you can get the Sam Darnold version of Kirk Cousins last week with 4 interceptions. So I think Atlanta is very much alive to not only cover, but win this game outright.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
There, Sporto.
We know you've been hurt in the past. Big stations with big promises lied to you, suckered you in.
We don't do that.
We're the real deal. You can take our information to the bank. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. And now, back to Moneyline with Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside.
Is it Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside? Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like Dave Sharapan. Sounds like your boy DRS. Sounds like Eagles. Sounds like Steelers, which we will get to. But last night, if the people don't know, started out the show talking about Dave. Company party, Christmas party, fantastic. The best part about it is when you're an on-air host like we are.
Yep.
Most of the network, when you show up, regardless if you're on air yourself, behind the scenes, or up in the C-suite, as we like to say. Like, okay, there's Donnie, there's Dave, there's Kevin, there's Ben, there's everybody there. But a lot of times we say, okay, match the name to the face, Dave, which is always a tough part, which I always joke Yeah, I always joke with the producers behind the scenes, even though they're in front of my face, like, look, there's a lot of yous, and unless I am in direct contact with you on a day-to-day basis, I know your name on a Tuesday, I might not remember, not because of disrespect, just because of the way my mind works. So you try to work around. So last night, I get to the party, right? And JP is at the party. I've never met JP in person. You want to hear this story?
All this time,
Dave?
you've never met JP in person?
Nope. Haven't met him in person one-on-one. As a matter of fact, I've probably seen a picture of him, but just don't remember the picture. So we get there, and I see JP. The minute I walk in, while we're at the desk where it's like, okay, there's a busy restaurant, but we have one section off. So this gentleman said, yo, Donnie, what's up? Hey, man, what's up? What's good? But it's loud. I can't hear. Like, I know JP's voice. I've talked to him for thousands of hours over the past couple years. So we dap up, say hello, and I walk in. And I immediately go to my wife. I'm not I don't actually know who that was. I don't actually know who it was. Because again, I couldn't hear the voice. You're not listening for it. It's like, okay, I know I'm not going to know a lot of people here at this point. But then we get in there and I asked Joe Lisi, who again, probably has never met JP. Right. The gentleman over there standing 10 feet away. Who is that? I don't know. So then he comes over and I hear the voice. I'm like, damn it, that's JP. What's good, man? You know what I mean? Like, but I couldn't tell him on the set. Like, I didn't know who you were a couple minutes ago. But of course, like just hearing the voice of him talking, instantly knew who he was. But that's us on air going, I finally get to meet the people that I've known for thousands of hours, and now I could put a face to it. Yeah.
See, that's good because some people would take that as the DRS kind of big time. Like sometimes how the Donnie Rightside does the good, I'll get back to you, and then you don't get back to them. Like you've been known to do that. Like there's rumors in the streets that you've done that to people. I mean, like, look, you only eat once a day. You have like a 4-hour window. You're skinny now. And you get that brain fog. You forget names. Yep. A lot of things happen. You got the kid pulling you in 100 different directions and things. Yep. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
You got to know JP's voice. I mean, was it that loud in the joint?
Yes. Yes. Because there's two things. Because JP answered in the background. Yes. There's two things going against you. You're trying to find your way because it wasn't like I was standing. Because again, where I heard JP's voice was, oh, that's JP when I was paying attention. But we were sort of checking it at the same time. JP was like coming by. So it was almost like a, hey, what's up? I'll find out later. But the hilarious was if it would have been anybody else, like, well, yeah, that's Tom or whoever it might be. But the fact that it was JP made me laugh because it's like, wait a second. For like 3 years, every day you're talking to the guy. It's like, I don't know who that is until I heard his voice said that puts it together. Like Jesse behind the scenes. Like Jesse introduced himself. We had no idea who Jesse was unless he said his name. And most producers do that. And I'll still technically forget their names at times if I'm not in front of them all the time. But I appreciate it. Like they understand the same way we do. Like even Kevin and myself. Hey, look around the room. You know what? There's a lot of faces we actually don't know that if you probably walked up to them, they would know our faces because we're on air all the time.
Right. Yeah. And they're cutting promos.
Yeah.
And different
like
things.
You and Wes were on the TV last night in the bar, Dave. Like, yeah, look, there's Dave and Scott up there. We know who they are.
Did you like my hat? Did you like my hat?
Yeah, you were looking very festive last night.
At Fedora. It was, it was my holiday hat. I was at the holiday party in spirit. And we had a lot to discuss last night. Are you a fan of this NBA Cup, Donald?
No.
At all.
But see, here's the difference, though. Like, I don't watch any college basketball per se right now because I once January hits and football starts to wind down, I love college basketball. But I was one of the people that goes, when the cup, Dave, when you give us something we don't ask for, stop it. Like, we didn't ask for the cup. Like, we might have asked for more teams making the NFL playoffs to get excited. We've asked for more teams in college football. Like, the people ask for that. Nobody asked for the NBA Cup. You know?
A trip to Vegas and cash? I mean.
Now, see, for the common man, you give the common person Vegas and cash. That goes well. By the way, Doug Anderson is starring in Thunder Down Under at the Excalibur. Did you know that? So how about that? Catch him live Monday through Friday. We'll be right back. We're having fun.
You're listening to your source of sports gaming strategies and information.
We call it the winning edge.
It helps make the odds even.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. The college football playoff gets underway on Friday, December the 20th. The first round matchup has number 5 Notre Dame battling number 8 Indiana, the game in South Bend. Then on Saturday the 21st, number 4 Penn State plays host to number 10 SMU, number 16 Clemson at number 3 Texas, number 6 Ohio State at home against number 7 Tennessee. The second round starts on Tuesday, December 31st. That New Year's Eve has number 3 Boise State taking on the SMU Penn State winner. 3 games on New Year's Day. Number 4 Arizona State gets the Clemson Texas winner. Number 1 Oregon faces the Tennessee Ohio State victor. Number 2 Georgia gets the Indiana Notre Dame winner. Bowl season gets underway this Saturday with the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. South Carolina State battles Jackson State. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
I juggle a lot. And managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LANZESS.
Be the master of your domain.
Get the SportsGrid mobile app so now you can get the winning edge while your wife is in a dressing room trying on stuff while you wait patiently on the uncomfortable chair. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Oh, yeah. Right back at it. Fun, football, family. It's what we do. And that's what's going to happen at 4:25 Eastern this Sunday. And I'm glad to have Dave Sharapan with me. Gives me the second wind right now because the gas tank was really low. After 3 hours, oh, man, I got one more hour before I can eat and take a nap, and away I go into the afternoon. So, a pleasant surprise here with Dave Sharapan. You guys all know him around the network, obviously doing big things here. But he, Dave Sharapan, is a Steelers fan. Me, DRS, is an Eagles fan. 5.5-point line this weekend, a lot of fun. But the questions also come up here for us, like big picture. The Philadelphia Eagles, 9 straight wins. We'll take that. Passing game needs to get in gear, understandably. But I feel like, Dave, from a Pittsburgh perspective, I'm like a card-carrying fan of the Steelers because I felt like at this network, and outside of you, had to go toe-to-toe with the Joe Leases and the Kevin Walshes, where they were beating me over the head, telling me I was a fool for saying absolutely Russell Wilson should be the starting quarterback of this team, even though Justin Fields has them out to a lead early in the season. Like, I feel like I get vindicated every single week because my thought process always was, I thought to start the season, they should have an open competition. Like Tomlin told you, no. Like, Fields is fine. He's good. Okay. The minute Russ can play, he's going to play. Thought it was interesting. But when I saw the eligibility of the Steelers going, like, there's 2 choices you can make, Dave. Mike Tomlin, we know, wants to win football games first and foremost. That's the job as a head coach. But I thought for the first time, Tomlin could have said, you know what? We're winning games. That's all I care about, and we'll wait. And he goes, no. I want to do bigger things than win football games here. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't about me going over 500. This is a unit and a team and an organization, Dave, that's used to winning Super Bowls and winning at the highest level. I'll roll the dice a little bit. Russ gives us more of a passing game. Let's watch it play out. And I've loved what I've seen out of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's unbelievable. And I think we have to, my approach as a Steeler fan, but then even as a guy who is an odds maker and spent time in the books was, we have to wait and see. And at the beginning of the season, Russ wasn't physically able to perform the job. So you go, okay, let's see what Fields can do. And for the first time in a while, maybe we got some stability as the offensive coordinator, everybody more on the same team. And instead of trying to force an offense onto somebody, I mean, you're, former football player in the room. When the wide receiver, you got to block every play, and they know you could catch the ball, but they don't want to throw you the ball. You're going to be like, hey, you know what? Can we pass it once in a while? Well, guess what? This is what we're going to do because this is what Justin Fields does best. So let's work the offense around it. But knowing in the back pocket over here, we got Russell Wilson working out, practicing, getting the reps, building rapport with the team. And Russ is a team guy. I mean, apparently, there has been a lot of what he went through in Denver was painted as a certain thing, and maybe it didn't end great in Seattle. But he's been nothing but Danger Russ in Pittsburgh, and they love him. And you can tell the guys play with him, not in spite of him. And Tomlin did it again. I mean, he just somehow there's another metamorphosis. He's done it in the past with guys. When Roethlisberger was hurt, it was Tommy Maddox step up and then find a way to win games with Mitchell Trubisky. And they did it. And now I really feel like everybody's playing. We get Pickens. He's growing up in front of our eyes every week, and there's things happening. But you know the saying, the standard is the standard. And now, are you watching this Hard Knocks in-season stuff? Do you like it?
I'm enjoying the concept of actually decent football teams, not like in season with like the Giants. Like I like anytime you can get me Mike Tomlin on camera. Like I enjoy stuff like that. Yes. Yeah. And also the fact that they're putting multiple teams where you can sort of, I really got to follow the Indianapolis Colts midseason. Like, come on now. Like, there's only so much you can actually go over. So I am enjoying that. But also, like, again, I wasn't an NFL wide receiver, but I tried to play it off as this and say, throughout my times of catching passes, a wide receiver is a very finicky position. And you see it. We'll talk about A.J. Brown in a second. The team has won 90 games in a row. He'd be like, you know what? If we lost 9 in a row and I caught 150 yards balls, that would be a little bit better because wide receivers are crazy individuals. But I tried to say, like, George Pickens running a route where he solves, like, does he even play right now? Does he care about playing on Justin Fields? Like, they're winning football games. That's a bad teammate. The wide receiver goes, if I run this route and I'm open, what are the chances you see me and throw me an accurate pass? Well, if the wide receiver does that 5 times and it's accurate 1 time, you know what he does on the 6th time? I don't feel like even running this route because I don't think I'm getting the football. The minute Russell Wilson comes in, Dave, he goes, let me run 45 yards downfield. I'm like, oh, my goodness. I'm one of the best players in the NFL going up in one-on-one situations at catching a pillow out of the clouds. And Russ is doing this repeatedly. Now he's engaged going like, I can take my game to the next level. I will play hard for you, Mike Tomlin, and you see the fruits of the labor. It's true. It just is.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And everybody's bought in. And that's what's fun. And that has been what is missing. And now it's fun to even see, like you see it on the Hard Knocks, like Wilson and Fields sit together. There's actually some, they're competing, but now when a team comes together, it's one of the coolest experiences in life. And when you watch it as a professional sports team and a fan and or better, and you're on one of those teams, man, you really can see it and feel it. Now, I like to put on listening glasses, every night when I'm doing the shows, when somebody starts to talk and say these things. So it may be looking through rose-colored glasses or black and gold-colored glasses, but 10-3 is 10-3. And Bill Parcells said it, you are what your numbers say you are.
Yeah.
They are right there. And this is a gigantic game this weekend for you guys. And I wasn't going to mention it, but you put it out there. It's a little bit of turmoil on that side of the state. Yeah. AJ and Jalen, are they getting along? Like, what the hell's going on? Does this come into the handicap at all for you?
Yeah, like let's take a look at that situation. Also compare it to as I sort of segue over that Pittsburgh Steelers locker room. You know what the best part about Mike Tomlin is? Hey, Justin, I just don't think you're playing well enough. And I think Russ gives us the best chance to win. Justin Fields could have went to the press and goes, we're winning. I never should have come here. I just got done dirty. I don't even want to play anymore. And the fact that I'm hoping from a Pittsburgh Steelers perspective, Dave, and I said this from day number 1, just because Russ is a starting quarterback, Justin Fields can play an unbelievable part of this offense, like I thought Cam Newton would have done with the Patriots with Mac Jones. Give him the ball in the red zone. Give him the ball in short downs. He can close out games by running it. I love it. He could have went south and goes, you know what? I'm probably going to play in the NFL another 15 years, at least as a backup quarterback. If you play the part of, yes, coach, understand it, that goes a long way into the future, which segues over to the Eagles, where you saw last year, it wasn't really internal turmoil. It was that maybe the Eagles' record was better than what their actual concept was on the field. Their defense fell apart. They were embarrassed. Final game of the season, the Giants beat them. They lose A.J. Brown. You get a mangled hand from Jalen Hurts, and they get pasted in that playoff game on primetime against Tampa Bay. But now you see a team that's won 9 straight games. You don't want to mess with it. Saquon Barkley has been phenomenal. But you do see where it's like, you know what, Dave? If Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and I'm just, Josh Allen, I'm using the elite guys at quarterback, which make that big money, which Jalen Hurts does. You see the passing game on the Eagles and go, why doesn't this work? One of the best offensive lines in football, 2 of the most talented wide receivers, maybe the best duo in football, the best running back, which means every time I fake a handoff, linebackers and safeties are flying up to the line of scrimmage and everybody's open.
To the run.
Yet my quarterback's thrown for $165 over the past 5 games combined. There is a flaw, and I don't know when it catches them, but there's going to be a point where it's like, Jalen, we need you to go for 325 and 3 touchdowns in this game because they're locking up the line of scrimmage on Saquon Barkley. And Dave, I got to be honest, they're 11-2. I love it. They're going to win the division. I'm going to love it. No, it's not this week. The Eagles win this week. Come on now. Stop. Come on.
Steelers cover. This is a close game. This is a field goal game, Donnie.
I'm actually surprised, Dave, that it's 5.5. How did you feel about that line where it sits now? And it's not moving really too much.
When they asked me, I still trade texts with guys and throw numbers out there. I said 3.5. I said, and take the first bet on the Steelers. I thought if you give the Steelers 3.5, instant bad guys will take the money, take the points. No.
Yeah.
Laying it with the Eagles.
Let's look at the ramifications of this game, win or lose, for both teams coming out of it, because it's massive, people. We'll be right back.
Loser is kind of a mean-spirited slur.
But it doesn't have to stick.
Tell them to listen to SportsGrid and fix it.
No, thank you. Later.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. The college football playoff gets underway on Friday, December the 20th. The first-round matchup has number 5 Notre Dame battling number 8 Indiana, the game in South Bend. Then on Saturday the 21st, number 4 Penn State plays host to number 10 SMU, number 16 Clemson at number 3 Texas, number 6 Ohio State at home against number 7 Tennessee. The second round starts on Tuesday, December 31st. That New Year's Eve has number 3 Boise State taking on the SMU Penn State winner. 3 games on New Year's Day. Number 4 Arizona State gets the Clemson Texas winner. Number 1 Oregon faces the Tennessee Ohio State victor. Number 2 Georgia gets the Indiana Notre Dame winner. Bowl season gets underway this Saturday with the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. South Carolina State battles Jackson State. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Ever find holiday shopping overwhelming? We've got to figure out what they want and then find it all too. Enter Kohl's. They have the best gifts all in one spot. The toys your kids have been asking for, the silk PJs she's been eyeing, and the stylish sweater he'll love. And you can get 20% off some of your gifts during their customer appreciation event. Yup, holiday shopping at Kohl's is the move. Select styles, offers end December 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to toys. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If SportsGrid was a burrito, we'd be the one with steak and carnitas packed so full every bite made your cheeks poof out like Dizzy Gillespie, so the name stuck and now even your mother calls you Dizzy. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Implications. Huge game. Philadelphia Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers. Huge game. Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. But you know what I looked at too, because we're looking at the AFC, right, Dave? You look at the teams that we know. The Chiefs, 12-1. I don't think anybody right now is sitting back like, boy, we can't mess with the Chiefs. Like, everybody messes with the Chiefs. They just beat you at the end. So it's no longer like, you don't want to mess with the Chiefs, Dave, because they beat you 42-14 because they're that good. They're not that team anymore. But they are 12-1, and they're in the lead. You look at the Buffalo Bills, 10-3. They're going to take on Detroit this weekend. The Steelers also 10-3 take on the Eagles. Let's just play devil's advocate and have some fun here. Chiefs continue to win their games, but it was always assumed it's like the Bills and the Chiefs, 1 and 2, that's the way it's going down. But the Pittsburgh Steelers right now tied with the Buffalo Bills. You switch up, and now you get the Steelers in that 2 seed. And now you're saying, like, okay, Pittsburgh is a great home field advantage. Russell Wilson's a mobile quarterback. It's colder weather. That pass rush will crunch you now that they're healthy in Pittsburgh. So now you might be saying, we're at home in Pittsburgh, Dave. And if we win that game or win those first 2 games at home, you now go to Kansas City. And that's not like, oh, well, that's where the train derails. Like, you win this game, Steelers fan. You see the other things that have to play out where the Buffalo Bills have that tough game. The 2 seed for the Steelers, I feel like we don't even talk about that. And that is a possibility now.
Hold on, Donnie. I mean, that was outstanding.
Yeah.
But let's do this. Steelers find a way to win this week.
Yes.
They play the Ravens next week in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Somehow take care of them.
Yeah. Oh, no, they
get
can't beat the Ravens, though. Oh, they already beat them once. So there you go.
No, they swept them last year, too, not even as a good team, as an average team. But say that happens.
Oh,
and then you get
Christmas presents.
You get the Kansas City Chiefs coming to Pittsburgh, not on Santa's sleigh. It's on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
We get the Renegade going in the fourth quarter and cancel out all that Chiefs voodoo magic, whatever the hell they got working to keep finding ways to win games. They'll be down at halftime. They might be down at the end of the game. And then you know what that means, just like it did back in the 70s. The road to New Orleans would go through Pittsburgh the whole way. And they get a bye to rest up Russ, to rest up TJ Watt, put him in bubble wrap, make sure he's good. Don't let it happen, Donnie, because that 3-game parlay, the Steelers are 10-3. They're dogs this week. The Steelers are 10-3. They're dogs next week in Baltimore.
Yes.
And then the third game, they might be dogs at home to Kansas City because it's Kansas City.
Well, the NFL didn't do that many favors on that schedule. I mean, every team goes through their tough spots here at that point, and it does start this week. And also, it's like, hey, you know what? It would be nice if the Eagles were at home for the Steelers and then also the Ravens at home, but you're going to do double duty on the road. The only good thing is you're not like you're flying out to the West Coast, tough game at that point. So you'll be ready. And then Christmas against the Chiefs will be a lot of fun to watch that one play out. So we're loaded up on the NFL this week. And by the way, I know it's a quick hour that we have. We haven't gotten a chance to talk about this Major League Baseball hot stove and what we're heating up and seeing right now. And I know you, because again, being a Pittsburgh guy, I sort of laugh at this situation because it should be the same. You're a Steelers fan. You wake up every single year, Dave, and go, why not us? And nobody laughs at you. You're like, the small market Pittsburgh Steelers who don't operate it like it. The NFL set that up a long time ago, and thank goodness clear heads prevailed where the teams like the New York Giants go, for the betterment of the league, we're going to sacrifice some of our profits to make sure everybody else can compete and also have a salary cap and a floor to make sure it's even. Baseball goes, yeah, we have the high-end teams, and we'll pay more, but there's no floor, setting up a structure where the Steelers could do the same thing as the Pirates by go, the fan base is always going to love us. They love their football. They'll show up. We'll win 4 games a year, but we'll still make just as much money as the big boys here. It doesn't make any sense. So Juan Soto getting that much money, and the first thing I tried to explain it to my wife, as Dave was saying, like, it's this guy makes a lot of money. This team is here. There's like 5 teams that theoretically can compete. And I can't imagine my favorite team every year waking up going, we really don't even have a chance. What sport operates like this, Dave, like baseball?
So frustrating, Donnie. And we had a tweet from somebody, I can't remember who, and we used it on Bostonian versus the book, that over the past 10 years, the Pittsburgh Pirates have spent $755 million on salary. Over the past 10 years, as a team. They just gave Juan Soto $765 now for 15 years, $51 million a year, and he's going to play right field and DH and do the shuffle. He don't even pitch. I mean, they gave the crazy money to Ohtani in L.A., and the only saving grace is that they're in the NL Central, and the NL Central is ripe to win. And once you win, once you get in, you have a shot to win short series. I mean, baseball playoffs are literally a crapshoot. I mean, you talk about casino content. We're rolling the dice. When we get in there, depending on by the time you get to October, whose arm's healthy, who's not. They're doing game 5s between the Padres and Dodgers was a bullpen game for everything to move on. So I don't know what the answer is, but man, it doesn't seem fair. And I mean, it ain't that long before pitchers and catchers report. We'll be talking about baseball before you know it. The Mets went and did this. They're not even the choice to win the National League. The Dodgers are still number 1 odds-wise. In some books, the Braves are number 2. The Mets moved up from 4 to 3 because all they did was jump your Phillies, and the Padres are still lurking. Donnie, are the best 5 teams in baseball all National League teams now?
Could be. It could be an absolute rumble to the finish, where now it's kind of insane where, because again, like salary caps, depending on where your market is, right? Like the Phillies. I hope there's never a salary cap because the Phillies tend to spend a lot of money. Same thing with the Philadelphia Flyers back in the day in the NHL. There was no cap. The Flyers outspent everybody outside of the Rangers for years. And by the way, the Rangers and the Flyers weren't winning a lot, but it's still, you have that perception of, I make a mistake, Dave, I'll just outbuy that mistake and get the next best player on top of it here and see how it works. Now the level playing field comes in. You got to use the salary cap wisely, and most teams just can't do that. But it's just insane where 75% of the league in Major League Baseball is like, we don't want to compete because if we do, that means we have to spend money, which means we won't get more revenue sharing. It's unbelievable that's happened. Thank goodness Dave still has his Pittsburgh Steelers out there to sort of lean back on. Let's have more fun next. It's a Wednesday. What else are we going to do, people?
Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do?
It's a choice.
Roll the dice
or listen to us. Luck is finding a good parking spot. Strategy is getting the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid Radio presents Gridiron Greats.
Running back Walter Payton set the then NFL rushing title in 1984, passing Jim Brown. Sweetness was a rare combination of power, speed, and agility. In 1999, Payton lost his life at the age of 45. Former teammate Dan Jiggins.
He was, at all stops along the way, the most ferocious competitor that I've ever seen.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
Do you think that Bruce Pearl will drop dead coaching basketball? So I'm watching this guy coach last night, and he was purple. I mean, my man turns purple when he's coaching, and he's sweating like Fred Flintstone. And I'm like, I think he's going to drop dead coaching, which is probably where he wants to go, wouldn't you think?
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network.
You're listening to the voice of authority.
Sports gaming strategies and information on daily sporting events.
In other words,
information you can take to the bank. We are your trusted source for gaming, odds, and more. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Dave Sharapan, special guest here on Moneyline today. You know, it's your boy Donnie Whiteside. One quick final segment before we get out of here. Your boy's going to eat, your boy's going to sleep, your boy's going to get refreshed, and away we go. But again, it's nice catching up with old friends on the air to get those hot topics of the past couple weeks. One of those, Dave, is college football. Now, for me, being a fan of the sport, Penn State, they're going to, by the way, I have my issues with James Franklin. Sometimes you just got to live right, Dave. Like if you ask any one of these 12 teams that got into this and go outside of obviously who they're going to play SMU, was where would you like to be? What seed line? It's Penn State. Like Penn Sate, forget about it. I joked about this, Dave. If you're the fan base, you're going to enjoy that home playoff game, which is everything you could ask for. No matter who you played, that place is going to be rocking. But then you
still want to go?
What? Me?
You still want to go?
In spirit,
it's gonna be cold, Donnie.
Yeah, in
it's gonna be
spirit.
cold if we got to go up.
They win that game, Dave. But then the fan base goes, you know what?
Pick you up.
Hold on.
Pick you up out in Arizona.
115,000 strong are like, you know what? Do we want to pay to go to that next game? Because we're going to win that one too. Do we just save up for that semifinal game? Or are you going to Arizona if it gets out there?
Let's go to Arizona. Let's shoot. I'll pick you up. Just swing by. I know how to get you. Just shoot me a text. I know what you look like.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll pick you up like I did out in L.A.
You've done it before.
Get to the game. I got places I got people down there.
Yeah.
We can golf if you'd like. We can hang out. Bring JP, for goodness sakes. We'll do the show from TPC Scottsdale. We'll hang out. You'll get a little sun. I'll get you to bed early. We'll go to the game. And
warm
then,
weather.
Oh, baby. It's good for the bones. It's good for the back.
Yeah.
It keeps you loose. I mean, you could bring the wife. Put it on the expense report. Gas up the jet. Tell MC, listen, I got to go see Sherapan and see a guy about a thing. We're going to cover the game.
Yep.
Get us the credentials. Get us in the
Expense
building.
it.
We'll do it. Let's go.
By the way,
I
you're
think
on
we
Sean
should do
here
that.
on the YouTube channel. Dave is great. Yeah. Dave is a great listen. And the Grid is lucky that he's on. See that? People love you out there in the chat.
People love
the
show. This is great. This is Eron.
I love the chat
listens
box.
to everything. He
They
watches
do.
you in the
Chris
morning.
Warren's out there.
He watches
JP,
us at night.
all the boys. Yeah.
It's great.
Yep.
This is great.
It keeps it going.
Funny is
are
all four favorites going to win the first round of the NCAA playoff? I mean, is there a dog that's live? Could Clemson beat Texas? Could Tennessee go to the shoe and win? Did the Mustangs have a shot at Penn State?
Yeah, everybody's being priced as if we're just moving on to the next round. Doesn't it feel that way? Like we don't get any 3.5s to 2.5s in there at that point. Like I think Notre Dame is a better team than Indiana wins that game. Penn State is a better team than SMU, and it's one of those where SMU's coming in. That's going to be a crazy atmosphere. And if that game is 40 degrees or less, major advantage of Penn State being at home. You're right. If you said there's one team I think that could get beat or might get beat, I think we have to go Ohio State, to be honest. I think Ohio State could get beat. I think Clemson has a tougher time beating Texas than Tennessee, Ohio State. But if you're saying, Donnie, Moneyline parlay all the way through, favorites. Yeah, favorites.
I swear, I think one dog wins it. I'm a little worried that if Penn State, if a quarterback gets hurt, like it happened in the Georgia game, they have a backup that was capable and found a way to win. But in a one-gamer, if it's not like snowy and cold and windy, blizzard conditions, SMU's got a pretty good run defense.
They do.
If they don't get Singleton and 13 the ball, it might be a problem. Because if we got to pass our way to the championship, Donnie, I'm worried about beating SMU.
Now, how about this, though, Dave? Penn State loses at home in a playoff game to SMU. What's James Franklin up to? Really, what is he up to at that point? You couldn't have painted a better picture of him to say, I just won 2 playoff games. You want to fire me now? You really can't do that, even though he's getting good matchups, it looks like. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, is he going to be the offensive coordinator in UCLA after that? I don't know. It's not going to be good. If they lose to SMU, they're going to be double-digit favorites against Boise. This is the time to cement, everything. Win 2 games, James. Take us home. I mean, we need this.
Let me ask you a risk room question on the bowl season, not the playoff bowl season. Mm-hmm. So many people are out at this point. You don't even know who's playing on a day-to-day basis, who's going to opt in or opt out. Bowl season, I imagine, for you guys in Vegas was so damn big. It's like your last chance to get down on college football with big games. Quickly answer that. What's the risk room do now in bowl season?
I don't know, because the bowls, are they meaningful or not? You got coaches like Dion saying, we're playing. If you're playing, we're okay with it. If you're not, it's big trouble. Donnie.
JP behind the wheels of steel. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Sending you off in the afternoon in style.